So what is King of the Castle? Well, the long and short of it is a multiplayer game that you can play with at least 3 people and up to as many as you can entice to your Twitch stream. You have the king, played by one person or a streamer, and you have 3 vassal factions played by Twitch chat or the other people in the room. The goal of the king, queen, monarch is to guide the nation through the first couple turbulent years of one's reign. The transfer of power is never easy, especially for a new monarch. 3 vassal factions are trying to get their own claimants on the thrones, all while preventing the king and the other factions from succeeding at their goals. There are a total of 5 factions that the king has to cajole and coerce into helping them succeed at their plans. They are the Chiefs, Northerners whose schemes usually include trying to get either ice giants or a magical horn to break down the capital. The Counts, Eastern aristocracy who dabble with dark magic, trying to summon some sort of demon or try and convince the king to live forever with them. The Patricians, coastal merchants who scheme to bankrupt the nation so that they can buy it back for pennies on the dollar. The Grandees, devout worshippers in the south who think the current monarch is a sinner and are scheming to put a more holier representative of the Nine God on the throne. The Barons, who dwell in the marshlands and pretty much are trying to strong arm their way to power by using advanced weaponry. So now you can begin to see how the intrigue and shifting power dynamics work in the game. Broken up into seasons. Each season there are 3 events that pop up in the different regions. There are about 950 events in the game that occur. You can have an avalanche in the north, the bees disappear in the east, and a whale beached on the coast. How you react to each one has lasting consequences for this king and their successors to come. First thing the king learns is they don't have absolute power. You have a council, they must be swayed. One represented from each of the 3 current vassal factions in the game. Not every decision is put to a vote, but most are. That doesn't mean the king is without power. There are certain laws that are able to be implemented once per season during a vote. Whatever the outcome of the vote, there's almost always consequences that will occur. Some positive, some negative. It's up to the king to balance their goals against the 3 factions. Because if the king tries to be too tyrannical in their decision making, then it can raise defiance of their vassals, which allows them to rebel. Nobody wants to see a civil war happen unless it helps a scheme. Seasons pass, both the king and vassals will try to meet their requirements for their personal schemes. For the vassals, they need to complete 3 schemes to get their claimant on the throne. As for the king, they'll need to survive long enough to create an heir and then fulfill their scheme, which can sometimes be having high authority, raise the faith of all factions, or even spread trade and prosperity throughout the land. There are several ways the game can come to an end. One of the vassals meets all 3 of their schemes, then they can put their own claimant on the throne. If the king achieves all their ambitions, then they go on to rule the kingdom for many years, and then their heir takes over. If a rebellion happens and the rebellion wins, the factions vote to put a new claimant on the throne. Finally, if any of the king's 3 main attributes, authority, stability, or treasury, drop to 0 and stay that way till the end of the season, then the king is ousted from power in a colorful manner and a new claimant is voted in. Don't you just love democracy? All in all, King of the Castle is a fun, imaginative take on the party game genre. I really love that each faction has their own methods of toppling the king. The balancing act of trying to reach your own goals while trying to prevent others from succeeding is very engaging and can lead to some interesting endings. I do have some minor gripes with not being able to shuffle the teams after each monarch, especially when one team has 5 people and another only has 3 or even just 1. Some events repeat a little too often, but I think that's just the nature of the game, and with time will be fixed with more events or by just continuing with one dynasty game after game. So if you're looking for a fun game to play with a group of friends or a bunch of strangers on the internet, you can't go wrong with King of the Castle, especially since it's only $5 on Steam. My name is Kevin, and this is Do It for Bruce. Have a good rest of your day.